Are you thinking about RVing full time? If so, there's an awful lot of videos on YouTube that will explain to you what tools you need, how to trip plan, buy something, buy this or buy that. But we really haven't seen that many videos on what is it really like to live on the road full time. In this video, we're going to explain to you some of the experiences that we had, expected and unexpected, while living on the road full time. If you're new to this channel, my name's Dan.
I'm Dina.
And we've been living in our RV for 6 months now, traveling and exploring the United States.
6 months already.
Yes, it's unbelievable. Before we get started into this video, I do want to let you know, and if you happen to watch our video from last week, we're both still getting over COVID. I do still have a tickle. I've been coughing. As an example. So I will be drinking some water again. It's just to try to help to hopefully get through this video.
It really is water.
This time.
This time. And before we get too far into the video, I'd like to say, please subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet. Also, don't forget to hit the red bell and don't forget to hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and we will get back to you. We love to hear from our viewers.
Yeah, well, we do. So let's go ahead and get started. This video is going to be kind of a series. We did a video on our first month of RVing. We did a video on 3 months of RVing. Yeah. And now we're going to do a video on 6 months of RVing. I really hope you get the chance to watch all 3 of these videos in series. And kind of at a high level, the first month of RVing gives you a really good perspective on what we had to go through. And honestly, it was a full month of work getting the RV ready to travel on the road.
Right.
Our 3-month video, that was kind of a go-between video. We still had a lot of work to do. We were learning our systems, learning how to plan our routes, just general learning.
Trying to organize and reorganize.
But we did start to see time where we had chances to go do some exploring and some adventures. So those were our first 2 videos. Now this video on 6 months, we want to go through what we've seen within the 6 months now, the last 3 months, hopefully to give you a good perspective on what you can expect when you start traveling on the road. And if you know us at all, you know I like to do research. And one of the things that we researched before day 1, before we got on the road, was what kind of RV do we want? What manufacturer do we want to go with? We decided to go with Grand Design, and honestly, we love the RV.
Yeah.
But one of the things that kind of pushed us over the edge or helped us decide on Grand Design was their customer service. We've done a lot of reading and research on customer service. Grand Design seems to have a little bit better customer service than some of the other manufacturers. Now, we did just have to deal with customer service about 2 weeks ago.
On our biggest issue so far.
On a decent sized issue, yeah. And we'll get back to that later in this video to let you know, did we make the right decision? What do we really feel about Grand Design's customer service now after having to deal with them? So stick around for that and we'll get back to that a little bit later on. One of the things that we've noticed on the road is the importance of checklist. Now, we just had to do a move. We're in an RV park, and just last week we only had to move 2 spots down just because we extended our stay. We had to move. That's a very good time, or I should say it's very easy not to use your checklist. Sorry. I get in a rush sometimes, and I know I'm only moving 2 spots down, so it's very easy. Let's just hook the truck up, back it up, pull forward, and let's go. You can't do that. And you might think, I've been doing this for 6 months. I got this down pat, not a problem. You can't think that way. You got to remember, if you're living in an RV, that's your home. Your truck, in our particular case, we have a 5th wheel. Our truck is pulling our home around. Yeah. If we were to mess up, maybe not hook the RV up correctly, miss a step, we could literally smash the back of our truck. We could smash the front of our RV. Now what do? Our home is in the shop somewhere.
Yeah.
We're either in a hotel or trying to live with friends or something. So big lesson learned. And luckily we did. Dina actually keeps me very honest with this. There's lots of times where I kind of get ahead of myself, and she, whoa, back up. Let's go through the checklist and make sure. And I do it. Lots of times I miss like our toe or our pull test or things like that. So something just to be aware of. When you get to the point where you think you got this down, you think you know what you're doing, slow down, go through your checklist and go through step by step. It only takes one mistake to probably ruin a couple months, to be honest with you. And we're gonna be doing a video later on some of the checklists that we do use. Now, something that was unexpected is honestly how long it's taken me to get used to pulling a fifth wheel. Again, we've been doing this for 6 months. You might think, well, he's been pulling an RV for 6 months. He better be used to it by now. But you have to remember, we usually stay at a minimum 2 weeks somewhere. So that means we're only traveling twice a month. So in 6 months, that means we traveled a total of 12 travel days.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's not a whole lot of time when you're pulling a 43-foot fifth wheel.
Right.
Now, I will say, once I get out on a highway and we get going,
you get more comfortable.
I get more comfortable, and I
remind you, wide turns.
Wide turns, yeah. I do get more comfortable once we get out on the highway.
Yeah.
But whenever we are pulling out of an RV park, going through town, I still get a little bit nervous. I usually have Dina help watch, just around, help me. 2 sets of eyes are better than one. So again, I'm not saying that it's hard. I'm not saying you can't do it. It was just kind of unexpected. I didn't think it would take me this long to feel that comfortable pulling a.
It's a big rig.
It's a big rig. Yes, it is.
Yes, and it's our home.
Yes, so you have to respect it and take care of it.
Yes.
Something else that was unexpected for us, again, going through 6 months, we're still rearranging and reorganizing things. It's amazing.
It's never ending. Never ending.
Yeah, it's amazing. You do something, again, like me mainly, it's in the garage, which is my office. I see something is out of place, and I go, let me move it over here and see how that works. Or I take something and I put it up in the attic, which is our loft.
Attic is our loft, yeah.
we call it the attic. I may put something up in the attic thinking I don't need it for a while. Then of course the next day you need it, so it comes back out of the attic, back in the office. So you're constantly reorganizing and rearranging things.
It's constantly in the kitchen, I'm sure, as you all know, because even at home, it takes a while when you first move into a new home. Rig is no different. Constantly with the kitchen, it's always moving dishes around, mainly pots and pans and Tupperware or casserole dishes and stuff like that, Pyrex dishes. It's just, you think you find the right spot, and then you decide, oh, well, what am I thinking? This should obviously be here.
Yeah.
It takes a while to get that. Something as simple as a step stool. I have moved our step stool, I can't tell you how many times, and it's still, I think I found the right spot for it, but once he sees where I have it, I know he's going to move it. So it's a perfect spot for now, but it's taken me 6 months to find the perfect
see how long
spot.
that lasts. So something else that this kind of goes with rearranging and reorganizing. We're still trying to get better at how we use what we have and getting rid of things that we don't need. And what I mean by this is our RV has 2 30-gallon propane tanks built into the RV. We also carry 2 20-gallon propane tanks, and these are strictly used for cooking out and grilling. And I think this kind of goes back to the days of living in a sticks and bricks, right? When you grill, you have your propane tank. If you run out of propane, you just switch over, use your other propane tank, and fill up the empty one whenever you get a chance. That's kind of the mindset I had going into RVing full time. That's why we have 2 of these portable propane tanks. What we're doing now is we're getting rid of one of those propane tanks, and I'll explain to you why. I still like a portable one. I like the ability to be able to put my grill anywhere I want. I'm not confined to only where the propane tanks are built into the RV. I can go anywhere I want with my grill. However, instead of carrying around a second propane tank just in case I empty the first one out, that's a lot of weight and a lot of space taken up in the basement. Now what I would do, if by chance I do happen to run out of propane while I'm grilling, I would just move the grill over to the propane tanks on the RV, plug into those, and continue grilling from there.
And basement, he means our storage below.
Yeah.
We call that the basement.
We have a basement and we have an attic.
Yes.
So we're still, again, after 6 months, we're still finding out better ways of doing things, ways to save weight, ways to save space, and I think we're going to be doing that probably the rest of our lives.
Yeah, I just did the bathroom again. It's like I have all these towels. I don't need a dozen towels. It's just the two of us. So I just donated like 4 or 5 towels because we don't need them all.
Yeah.
Even if we have company, we don't need a dozen towels.
Yeah, right.
And linens. I donated a couple sets of linens. So we don't need all of that. So you live and learn.
Yep.
Yeah, when you do have a little more space, it's like you feel like you can breathe a little more easier.
Now, to me anyways, one of the biggest unexpected things for me on the road for 6 months now is the quality of some of our RV parks. Now, if you're like us, when we started researching traveling or full-time RVing, we had the perfect RV spot or perfect RV site in mind.
In our mind.
Right? You're
a perfect world in our mind.
You're on the side of a mountain.
Yeah.
There's a brook behind you with trout jumping in your frying pan. You have deer out in the front grass. You have unicorns and rainbows everywhere.
Butterflies.
You have that perfect RV spot. We haven't found that one yet.
No.
For us, and we are a little bit limited. Again, I work. I do have to have good cell coverage, and probably I'm still a little nervous, maybe getting too far away from town on some of the, some of the RV parks are a little bit further out of town where the cell coverage might be iffy. They may be some prettier RV parks, but again, I'm just a little too nervous still to do that.
I think it'll get easier with time.
It will.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
But when you're looking into this, if you're looking into researching RV parks, just be aware, we've been to a lot, honestly. They look like old trailer parks.
Not so pretty.
Just
not so pretty.
Not the pretty. We still haven't had the deer and the rainbows and the unicorns out front. So
no.
Something to be aware of. We deal with it. We're pretty easygoing. It doesn't bother us. Now we would prefer to have the brooks and the trout, but it hasn't happened for us yet. Something else that I think this hit Dina pretty hard recently, just because of one of her friends. We're really finding out, and you really have to be honest with yourself on this one, because there's kind of no turning back, or there's no easy way to fix it unless you want to jump on an airplane. We have some friends and close friends, and Dina some extremely close friends that are going through some pretty hard times right now. Medical issues, and I believe even a death in a family. Yeah. It's very hard to be 3,000 miles away when you have good friends or family members that they need you, right? A phone call just doesn't do justice, right? It's
nice, but it's not the same.
It's not the same.
No.
So you have to be honest with yourself. Can you deal with that? Are you able to be 3,000-4,000 miles away when a family member or a friend needs you? Or do you have the ability just to, jump on an airplane and fly home for a week or something to be there with them? Yeah. So it's tough, right?
Yeah.
It's tough. You have to be aware of that, and you have to be honest with yourself that, if you're thinking about RVing full time.
Yeah, it's just got to be something that, God forbid something happens.
Yeah. Another thing that we've learned, and this kind of goes with RVing, things break. Things are gonna happen. you have, if you really want to do this full time and you're serious about it, you need to spend the time to learn your RV. Kind of an example, we found we had an electrical issue a while back, and we actually did a video on it. I think it's our electrical sub panel video. We didn't know it, but we had a sub panel underneath one of our steps.
Yeah, the mysterious compartment or something like that.
Hidden compartment. If we didn't know that, now luckily for us, we went on some of the Grand Design forums.
Which, by the way, they have some great ones. And if you send out a question, you get an answer like that. Yeah. They are awesome.
But you have to think, we spent 10 minutes on a forum, we asked some questions. Now, not all the answers are going to be correct, of course, but usually what you'll find is with all the answers you get back, there's enough information in there, or maybe even the correct answer, but usually at least enough information to point you in the right direction to help you get going. And that's exactly what happened with us. We found out we had a sub panel underneath one of our steps. There was a bad breaker in there. I replaced the breaker, fixed it, end of it, and that was the end of it. Now, you got to think, if we didn't understand our systems, if we didn't spend the time on forums, spend the time taking the step apart, looking at the sub panel, our alternative would have been to take our RV to a dealership, or maybe have to pay for a mobile tech to come out. Either way, I really don't want to spend the money on a mobile tech, and I really don't want to have to pack everything up just to take it to a dealership for a stupid breaker that I can fix in 5 minutes. So again, doing this full time, you have to understand your systems. You have to be willing to learn, be willing to explore a little bit. We are going through...
Educate yourself.
I should say we thought we had a minor water leak. So we actually found another hidden panel behind our kitchen cabinet. Now we pulled that panel off. Luckily there's no leak back there, but now I know I have access to some connectors behind our cabinet. So all these little things add up, and the more you know, the easier it's going to be to fix something and save some money in the meantime. Getting back to that Grand Design customer service, if you remember in the beginning of the video, one of the reasons why we picked Grand Design was, supposedly their customer service was better than most. Now, we just had to deal with Grand Design's customer service. Our fireplace went out on us. The heating element went out on us. I was able to pull the fireplace out. I verified it, made sure there's nothing clogged, causing the fireplace not to work.
And we miss it. It's cold.
We miss it.
January in California.
It's cold here in the mornings. Now, the steps I took after I verified the fireplace was definitely bad, I called Grand Design customer service, and they gave me a couple options. They said I can either call the local Grand Design dealership. Luckily for us, was about 10 minutes down the road. They said I would probably be able to get a fireplace quicker, get it replaced quicker if I went that route. And if that didn't work, I should give them a call back, and they'll try hopefully figure out something else. And that's what I did. I called the local Grand Design dealership down the road. They actually wanted me to bring our whole RV to the dealership for a fireplace. Again, this fireplace, you can pull it out with 4 screws and it just plugs into a jack. There's no reason to have to pack up your whole RV, bring it to a dealership, just so they can plug in and make sure your fireplace doesn't work. And I'm sure they have alternative motives, right? Once I get the RV in there, they're gonna find something they need to get fixed.
Chances are.
This just wasn't gonna work for us. I called Grand Design customer service back. I explained to them, look, we live in our RV. The dealership wants us to bring the whole RV in for this fireplace. I really don't want to have to do that.
And you already knew.
I already knew what it was.
Yes.
Yeah. I do understand they have to verify. I get that. Once I explained to Grand Design that this really wasn't going to work for us, I really don't want to have to bring an RV to the dealership just for this fireplace. They worked with us. They found a fireplace. Now, the fireplace was on back order. This is about a week ago now. And I just called this morning. The fireplace did come in. It's going to be shipped tomorrow, and it's going to come directly to us. Now, this allows me to put the fireplace in myself. I don't have to pack up our RV. I don't have to take it to the dealership.
Right.
And
We're not out of a home.
We're not out of a home. And honestly, I've had this fireplace out twice already. I can take it out and put a new one in probably in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So, Grand Design customer service, they worked with us. This was a pretty big ticket item.
Yeah.
They're like $300 or $400. They could have balked. We're happy. I think they worked with us, and we're happy with this. Now, the only thing I have to do once the new one comes in, I do have to take a picture of my old one. I have to cut the cord on my old one and email them some pictures back. But other than that, and that just takes a couple minutes. So as
No
of
big
now,
deal.
as of 6 months on the road, we're
Yeah.
still happy with Grand Design customer service.
Yep.
Now, we kind of covered a lot of the unexpected things, some of the things we did expect on the road. But you might be asking, you know, with all that stuff going on, why do you do this? What's the whole purpose of traveling on the road like this? We've been able to see so much in 6 months that we're forgetting things that we've seen already.
Yeah.
If you're like us,
Not really forgetting,
Yeah.
but it's just the time goes by so quickly,
does.
and we're like, that was already a month ago.
if you were like us before we lived in our RV, and like probably I'm sure most people,
Yeah.
you probably take a week, maybe 2 weeks a year, and you go on vacation. You might be fortunate enough to get to go to a Yellowstone or a Glacier National Park.
Or a beach somewhere, the
Or-
Bahamas, or
yeah.
Hawaii, or, you know, somewhere like that.
Some minor place like
Yeah.
that. But you get your 2 weeks, you go do your vacation, you come home, and it's over with until next year. We're kind of doing this full time.
Yeah.
We're kind of going from vacation to vacation. We've been to half a dozen national parks in this past 6 months. We've been to the Georgia Seaquarium. That was
We always
awesome.
wanted to see that.
Always
It was
wanted to see
incredible.
that. We had a lot of friends
Yeah.
who've been there
Yeah.
and told us about it. In St. Louis, Missouri, we happened to run into a Lewis and Clark museum. If you're into
Yeah.
history or Lewis and Clark, they had a really awesome museum there. We done some unexpected thing. We did some unexpected.
Did you know
things.
that you can ride in the
Gateway Arch.
Gateway Arch?
The Gateway Arch in St.
knew?
Louis, Missouri. You can actually ride up in the center of that and look out. That was pretty cool
Yeah,
too.
we
So,
had no idea.
no idea. We did it. I believe it's the smallest national
Yeah.
park. I believe I remember correctly, United
Yeah.
States. But that was cool. The other
Very.
really nice thing about doing this the way we're doing it, we're driving across the United States. So if you were to go on vacation, if you were to, again, let's say fly out to Yellowstone, you're going to fly
see
over
all the-
everything until you get to Yellowstone. We're seeing everything that you're going to miss.
The little
If-
quaint towns and
yeah, just
restaurants and mom and
the
pop
people,
shops and
some of the harvest hosts
Yeah,
we've
the
been to,
harvest hosts. Oh, yeah.
just driving through the small towns, driving through the mountains. It's really, really just an awesome way to go.
It is.
We're really, really enjoying this. I truly, truly hope we both hope if this is something you're thinking about doing, we really hope you can do it. It is.
Yeah. We are tremendously
Yes.
blessed.
We're
and
blessed.
We know it.
Yep.
And we wish the same for anyone else who wants to do this. Just if you can make it work, do it.
Yeah, go do it. You have.
Yeah.
You have. It's one of those things. If you
Yeah.
can do it, please. You won't regret it.
Right.
So with all that said, we do hope you can get a chance to do this. We hope that you will subscribe to our channel. We want to be able to do more videos like this and some how-to videos.
And we'd love to hear from you guys. Please write in. We love to hear it. We just really do. We love it.
We just heard from somebody the other day that one of our videos helped them out with an electrical problem.
Yeah.
So those things really, really help us and really makes us happy, makes us want to
Right,
continue
right.
doing this.
Yeah.
So again, please subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, leave comments. We definitely want to hear back from you. But as always, remember, always live life to the fullest.